Can I request Dr. Shashikumar to make your presentation a very colorful personality? I look forward to your speech with a lot of excitement. Over to you.
Namaskaram and thank you, Chair Anandaramanji. Thank you, Holy Grace, especially Professor Sukumaran, who introduced me to this program. Though Holy Grace is not new to me, I was there in 2016, almost the same time, September, October, in the management department as part of it. And Ramanunni was very close to me for a long time. He was a good friend of my brother too. Holy Grace did it very beautifully, nice, well organized. Last 2 days I was listening on and off sometime in between. And yesterday panel discussion also was interesting on the medical aspects. I am glad that I am not known to any of the other panel members because I am not that famous as others are. It's nice to be not known to people, so the expectations are not there. Neither a Mammootty nor a Mohanlal. Could be a Mala Aravindan is much better to be a joker in the movie. So I'm sure I'm having a joker's role here. I enjoy it. Earlier speakers, both Dr. Vijay Kumar and Christo spoke well. Nirmal has no expectations from people like me. It's good. Taking cue from yesterday's, because I am into that discussions which happened in the same conference. I'm sure we can all put a lot of statistics because it's all available on Google. Anybody can pick up and then say percentages. How GDP went down and then how market has fallen. For last 500 days I am not out of my compound wall. Earlier for last 10 years, except 5 days in 365 days, almost 360 days I was roaming around the whole globe. 2 years back, this time I was in US. I am not able to move out. So my concern was on two aspects. I am from a small village from Kerala where my father was a farmer, totally uneducated. My mother was a third class dropout. She could hardly read and write. I was looking at going back to farm, going back to my roots. I had a lot of webinars on which I was trying to loop different people in farming to see what can be done. Luckily, there are a lot of few people who started small startups and then selling their products in the market. And they all say that it is because of DrTPS initiative of introducing them back to farm. I had few webinars in which I told them don't work from home, work from farm. Anyway, you are not on computer for 24 hours. You need little physical exercise, and it is nice to be with, not in your apartment in the closed four walls. Go out in the field and then start working so that your exercise is taken care of. You are mingling with the people with a little distance is also taken care of in the farming. And you can also enjoy good food. Not just depends on what Swiggy gives or maybe some other brand gives to you. That took me to another concept of the retail market. I remember 10 years back when the retail market was getting a boom. There were a lot of opposition in the government, in the people in the union. They said our jobs are going. But today I'm sure nobody can make that opposition onto what is happening in the retail market. It's only those branded ones are able to make good money. Most of us depend, except probably Kerala have a well distribution system, so it's not a big job. I am staying in Hyderabad, so we know what happens in cities like Hyderabad. So retail market has changed and the distribution system has changed. Not that it changed only in the small villages, also it has its own influence. Better future is guaranteed in most of the business sectors. Another big business which came out is education. I remember 10 years back when I was in academic staff college, I wrote a book on adaptive learning. How internet can be used, multimedia can be used for education. I was trying to market it in Kerala in most of the academic institutions, but everybody has thrown it because they thought it's not my cup of tea. Every other sector, like even a conductor knows how to operate an electronic machine. 20 years back, the ticketing has gone to electronics, but only one place where it is not changed was education. They were still using blackboard and white chalk, not even anything else. Thanks to Professor COVID for the great education given, every teacher in this country can survive only when they know this business. But I know most of the teachers lost their job. I know teachers in good colleges, the so-called good colleges, started working in small companies in a meager amount of monthly salary, or they started their own startups because they don't want to shift to the augmented reality, artificial intelligence and all and all. I don't know how many teachers really changed into the real augmented reality, but at least copying is happening. Not even production, but reproductivity is good in teachers. But one community which has not changed, probably it has got a good market because we are talking about business. Every problem is a good opportunity for business people. That's how pharma industry has, I'm sure pharma industry not only selling, they are buying countries and countries. Maybe you can name in fingers few pharma industry who is going to be the richest in the world in the days to come. So there is going to be a lot of problem. I don't know why people are too much worried about COVID. It's not that COVID death is more than the number of people die out of poverty. Still in this world, people out of poverty is much more than the death due to COVID. But we are worried because the rich people are also influenced, affected. The educated lot, irrespective of the age, cadre, richness, and the knowledge, people are getting affected. When the doctors or the president of the Association of Medicos are getting affected, I'm sure they will be much more worried. I know people who shifted from medical industries to academics in the West. They shifted back to medical industries because they know that's making money. So I was talking to a few of my colleagues who are statisticians in working in Canada and working in America and Europe. They all shifted back to that industry because they know it's making money. It's not that they are really needed there, but they know this is the best method to get money out of it. One group which is not attempted by most of them are age 3 to grade 3. Their psychological, social change has to come. And if that doesn't happen, I'm sure those children, when they grow up, they are going to have a lot of impact in their behavior patterns. The character building will not happen very nice. So I had a great dream of having Grandma Child Care Center, which was one of my brand, which I started 1 or 2. And I was propagating in Kerala specifically because that was my place of work in 2012 to 13, 14, 15, those. But today, not even small clusters, officially not permitted. And therefore it could not grow. Though large number of people gathered in a resort in Hyderabad. We had a 2,500 acres of land resort, and then we were tying up with him to understand what Grandma Child Care Center concept can give it to the society. We had an inauguration program on our Republic Day. But again, the cluster group could not be made because of the restrictions. But I think everybody agree that most of their life changed, except the politicians and the public policies. The politicians and public policies did not change. Especially that's why we see Kerala is worst affected because of the adamancy in the politicians. If the politics and public policies don't change, I am sure fourth industrial revolution cannot make differences. Sustainable Development Index, we are in the mid of 2015 to 30. I had at least a few interaction with different students, different community, different experts in the world. Then we found that India is in the 66th in the development index. Whereas in the whole country listed, you will see there is a special mention about Kerala because Kerala stands apart in the Sustainable Development Index and it is 6 in the sequence. India is 66 and Kerala is 6. So you can imagine there is a lot of things which we can learn from Kerala. But there are a lot of pitfalls in Kerala because we don't have good logistics even today. The transportation and logistics, I cannot skip what I heard from the earlier speakers, so I'm taking cue from them. I'm sure the logistics and transportation has to be more closely look at it. I remember I had a talk for the Chamber of Commerce of Thrissur exactly 1.5 years back, the beginning of the COVID. What will happen post-COVID was discussed, thinking that it is going to be 3 months of affair. But now we know it is standing and it will continue. So therefore we have to have a relook at the logistics and transportation and farming so that the retail market can be stronger and then we can have sustainability at least as a small state. If that can be proved, I'm sure that is going to be a big impact in the whole world so that we can show that the 6th will not go too far below. There are great lessons which I can share, but unstoppable is what I have to take a cue from Christo George, who spoke earlier to me, my brother. Every performance depends on 3 factors. One is attitude, perfectly right. If attitude is only set and the skill is not given, I think people will suffer with the distress because I'm a psychotherapist. Most of the people who come to me are people who have got a lot of attitude, but they could not get the skill. Yeah, attitude is there, you can hunt for skill. But if opportunities are not given, that will be most disastrous. So I'm sure one of the biggest problem which psychology has to address, which I am totally into, I am getting a lot of cases in which the problems are because the balancing of attitude, skill and opportunity doesn't happen. My formula, you can look at it wherever is available. It's only from me which I thought. I have not seen anywhere else. Performance P is equal to attitude A plus skill S plus opportunity. I have an attitude but I don't have a swimming pool. I will hunt for a swimming pool. If the policy doesn't allow me to swim in that swimming pool, then I will become distressed. I will be ready to learn swimming only when swimming pools are available, not just attitude. So we need to have a collaboration of attitude, skill and opportunity to create the good performance. Let it be anything, especially in business. So I'm sure the policies and politics and the good skill development in the business, not the MBA which we have today in the country. I was also a faculty and I was also head of the department of MBA. I know what Maha Boran Alkar. That's what I keep saying about MBA. Every Hikandari can start doing it. Right? Since one movie, maybe the Nirmal's most favorite actor Mammootty says MA and BA together is MBA. So that is why I remember when I went to one of the best universities just across Kerala border in Tamil Nadu, because Kerala is not that conducive for education. I know how Holy Grace have gone into troubles because of the strikes and all that. I was going for both induction training for MBA and MSW. And I asked students, why did you join MSW, why not MBA? They said MBA cost 15 lakhs, MSW cost 10 lakhs. So education is being sold without any interest. Only interest is for the management. If you don't change that, I think the skill will not happen. So MBA need to know what MBA can do. That has to go through the global thoughts with a local activation, which I have done with my MBA students in Hyderabad, and all of them got into the taste of learning. If that can be done, I'm sure the performance with attitude, skill, and opportunity can be sought and then obtained the result. So thank you for this opportunity. I have nothing more to add. I could go on and on, but I know the time constraint. We will react in case if there is some reactions required. Namaskaram and thank you for all of you.
Thank you, sir. You may not be Mammootty or Mohanlal, but I think you are Kamal Hassan, more versatile and ranging from space to psychotherapy to agriculture. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you later. Dr. Shashikumar, in this context, I would like to understand everyone referred to the ecosystem of startups and everything. Is agriculture, which is the backbone of India, the majority of people even today depend on agriculture. I'm a farmer myself. I have a decent farm. I try to do a lot of things originally and all that. Is the startup system having any impact on agriculture? It should be there. Last week I heard a half-an-hour debate on CNBC TV 18 on this startup system and agriculture, but I didn't get much out of that. What is your feeling? Is the startups making a difference?
I think the people started getting back to farming because the physical proximity disruption is more in other sectors like medical or maybe any personal care or on-site jobs, leisure and travel. So you need something else. The home support doesn't happen. The indoor production and warehousing doesn't happen. So you need to have some activity. Therefore, many people started venturing into it. What is lacking in agriculture and stopping in agriculture from growing is probably the coordination. You need to have, in US and all, I know a lot of IT people who are working at home, working from home. They had a leasing option, and you can have a leased land. Every facility is provided, and insurance is also guaranteed. I think that is why I'm saying the government policies do not change according to the situations. If such a support is given in India, I think India will grow. I don't know which economic growth pattern will work there. Neither your W or L or U or V, it will go up to exponentially far, and we will have to make a new development patterns in economy. So what is lacking is the policies. What is lacking is the coordination. If I must have been, not that 500 days I did not go out of compound wall, I also went to some of the farms to look at how are they doing. They are not affected by COVID. They are not also affected by any of the activities happening around the world. They are still living there in the way they were for 10 years back or 20 years back. But nothing is happening. No change is happening. But whereas you can see the suffocated people are here, they wanted to get out. The connectivity is lacking. See, if somebody can connect them together, see, I am ready to go and sit in a farm, but we don't have internet connection. So when I suggested working from farm, not from home, but some service provider must put an antenna there, no? That is not happening. So we are addressing only 10% and we say is it growth? Is it progress? Is it development? Let us understand as India. I've been traveling across, not even during the COVID, earlier when I used to travel to Northeast, you imagine when I go there 10 days, 15 days, no electricity at all. And internet connection is so poor. When one wind comes, BSNL give message. Another wind, I have to wait for the reply to go. So, if we are living in such situation and with a lot of plenty of opportunity, we are talking about the whole India. Is it only 10% of India? How much people are connected onto internet today? How many people have got internet connection? How many people have got access to the education system? You can imagine, I was talking to one of the students in Vijayawada. She is in a small village in a farm. The farmer's house where she has to attend a BTech. She is second year BTech. She has never seen a laptop in her life. She is computer science BTech. I am sure university will give a BTech degree also to her without seeing a computer. When I was talking the data is over, she called me and said data is over. Then I charged the data to continue the discussion. This is the situation.
So my question is, COVID did not really affect agriculture because agricultural activities continued almost normally. But my concern is, I got, for example, a 6-acre farm very near the town. I told the supervisor, I'll be very happy if you don't ask money. I not loaded 1 rupee liability there, no interest payment, it is worth 10 crores. I told him, if you don't ask me money, I'll be very delighted. So, is all the startups, innovations and all, are they bypassing farming? Or is something happening? This was the root of my question.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. The policies of the government is not supporting such people where they require a connectivity, no? See, connectivity can be with the people, with the government, with the policies, with we have an agricultural university next to the door, but do we have real, this time they should have used to distribute things, Maybe we had a warehouse, why government is not picking up? They are only, see, imagine in Kerala distribution, I don't know how many of you are looking at the packet which the item is being supplied. It is manufactured in Rajasthan somewhere and the banner is written in Malayalam. The address is Rajasthan. All fake people are making money out of this government system today. Got it? It's actually, everything is a business. For government, COVID has become a big business.
Very true. And vote-getting mechanism.
Yeah, why we are not supporting the local farming farmer and then make it in Kerala? Don't you think that we can have our own kandari for selling? We have got a good environment.
With these words, let me thank Dr. Vijay Kumar, Crystal George, Dr. Shashi Kumar, Pradeepan. All of you have given rise to wonderful ideas. Thank you very much for that. I hand it over to Nirmal.
Thank you so much, sir. So unfortunately, because of the paucity of time, we have to wind up. But I really, it's not very often that you like listening to a panel discussion for a very long time. But in this case, I wanted to listen to it more. I wanted to hear more from both Mr. Crystal George and Dr. TP Shashi Kumar, as well as the chairman. Unfortunately, we have Dr. TS Anantaraman sir as the chairman. So unfortunately, we couldn't hear much from him. But the one thing that I'd like to say is, Shashi Kumar sir, you've done a wonderful job. If anything, you spoke about Mahaboran people, but the one thing that you did not do is you did not bore us. You entertained us, and you also, it was a very informative speech as well. My takeaway is I will be careful with my movie references from now on. So anyway, thank you so much, and thank you for coming and providing us a much needed information about the shift.